Take the broadcast is live. This is so interesting to me.
I know. Yeah. You've never done like a StreamYard, any of that?
This is my first time even doing live interviews, going live, period, or anything like that. Normally I'm a recluse, so I'd be over here. Oh, did the sound go out?
No, I think there was like echo. Did you hear that? Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, I think we're live because I see the viewers now. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and we have a special guest today, B.B Reid.
Hello guys.
We're talking about her newest release, 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲, which I'm so excited for. If you've watched me for a while, you know that I love B.B Reid and she's one of my favorite authors ever. So yeah, super excited to chat with you today about all things 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲. So
let's do it.
Let's do it. So you took some time off. Also, let us know when you come in, say hi. And if you have any questions throughout the live stream, make sure to drop them in the chat so we can see and you can get your questions answered. Okay, so you took some time off. Also, you've been doing live streams like all this week, basically. So if any of these are repetitive, I'm so sorry.
I'll answer whatever. Ask me.
Okay. You took some time off. How was that? Were you writing during that time off? How was that whole entire process?
I was, because I didn't intend to take time off. Like, I never stopped writing. I think I was just kind of like broken and stuck where I wasn't loving anything that I was writing. And, you know, if you follow me for a while, you know, I'm not going to put out anything like that I can't stand behind.
Right.
So eventually I got to 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲, and Rowdy just would not let me give up on him. So I finally got to finish a book, but the last year I traveled like all last year because I was like, I spent all of 2021 trying to complete a book. I couldn't complete a book. And then so I was like, forget it. I'm going to travel and try to get through this wall that I can't get over. And it helped. It did. It gave me a lot of inspiration. And I was actually writing 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲 while I was on the road. I think I started it probably last February while I was in Houston. Right. And it changed a lot. Like, I've written a lot of different versions of this book.
Yeah. 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲 was supposed to be the heroine for a while.
𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓬𝓲 was the original heroine.
That is insane to me.
Yes. And it wasn't like trying not to spoil it, but it was kind of different from what it was. It was always like the Pride of King's mechanics. It was always like 4 guys, but trying to figure out how to explain this without spoiling anything. But and she was always connected with one of them, but it wasn't like this big mystery. There was no unrequited. And it was like more like dad's best friend, if that makes sense. So yeah.
Okay, well, that is honestly, I would love to picture like 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲 with Ruin. That is insane to me. I loved her. She's probably one of my favorite like side characters ever. Which also we got a question if Ruin was gonna get a book potentially.
Yeah, she is. So she's not my next one, but the one after the one I'm writing now, because I already started before 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲 even went live. I already started on my next release. So she's the one after next. I'm gonna try to start hers at the end of this year.
Yeah. Is it gonna be like, because I know 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲 is like a standalone, so will it just kind of be like standalones within like the same kind of universe, or what's
so it's gonna be in the same world. It won't be in like the same series. She'll have her own. She's actually gonna get a trilogy. That's what I'm estimating right now, is that she'll get a trilogy. Yeah, she's a really interesting character. So her and her sister will get books. I think like Remedy will probably either be a standalone or a duet. I can't see me doing too much for her, but Ruin's story is gonna be pretty wild, and that's why I changed her, because I felt like she was too big for that story. Not to say that 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲 wasn't big, but 𝓿𝓸𝓬𝓲 was supposed to be a lot simpler than it turned out. So when I finally went in a new direction, I was like, she's too big for this story. She's toxic, he's toxic. They both have big personalities. They're both like alphas in their own right. She needed something different. So yeah, we'll be doing her.
That's really interesting. Do we have like, how far into the process are you with that? Do we have like
Ruin?
Yeah.
I started on the outline, but right now I'm writing something else. So I have to I work on it when I can. Whenever I get ideas, I'll jot them down. I'll put them in the outline. But I've been on her here and there for a while now. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a question. Where was your favorite place you traveled to during your time off?
Oh, okay. So Scotland. was my favorite, particularly when I went to the Highlands.
Mm,
It was beautiful out there. Like,
I need to go.
yeah, it was. And I did a self-guided tour, and you could tell like I was one of the only Black people out there because I kept having random white people come up to me and say like, "Hey, I saw you at such and such place," and
Oh,
and I don't know who they are. Like, I never seen
right.
them before. Like, you know, like.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know you. I don't remember seeing you. And they kept like, the amount of times it happened, it was low key scary.
Okay.
And, right.
That
But it was so beautiful out there. And they were all Americans that kept doing that. And it was like, but it was so beautiful out there. That was my favorite place. Seeing Niagara Falls for the first time. Huh?
Sorry, are you an Outlander fan?
I am. I haven't finished though.
I haven't either, but like because of Outlander, me and my mom want to go to Scotland so badly.
You have to. I cannot, like, I posted pictures, but
Mhm.
it is like next level gorgeous out there. Like, you can tell like this place has not been touched by pollution, deforestation, anything. It's just so green and blue and beautiful. It's ridiculously beautiful. And I got to see the part where, you know, like have you watched Harry Potter movies?
Some of them.
You know the part where they go on the train, the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? I don't even remember what movie it was in, to be honest. But I got to see that part because it was like a real place. I think that they had filmed it at. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. The Hogwarts Expresses, I think is what they call it.
Okay. Yeah. I need to look it up and see. And I also have to stalk you on Instagram to see if I can find that if you posted it.
Yeah, I did. So I think I did a video and a picture because I did photo dumps. Scotland is definitely up there.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Houston was a favorite of mine. I was like, I could gain a lot of weight and go broke being out in Houston because the food is wonderful. Food is wonderful. The shopping is wonderful. The culture is wonderful. What was another favorite? I liked Vancouver. Vancouver was nice.
There. I just went last summer. It was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
First time leaving the country and everything. So
I was like, I'm gonna go jet skiing. Because did you read Lilac?
Yes, I did.
So remember they went jet skiing in Vancouver? I wanted to do that. I wanted to recreate that whole thing, and I was mad because I went during the off-season time and I didn't realize it. That was like one of my biggest reasons for going there.
Oh my gosh. Well, you have to go back. You have to like recreate that scene and film it and all of that. Lilac was actually the first reverse harem that I ever read because I was very scared of reverse harem. I still don't really read them like that, but I was like, I love BB. I need to just pick it up. And I was so surprised. I remember like I spent all night reading it. I was like, okay, I'll see. No, I was so obsessed. And now like I wish I could get into, I don't know if it's I like reverse harems or sorry, why chooses, or if I just like you.
But I heard that a lot. Yeah. They was like, I don't read this, but because you wrote it, I'll read it.
Right.
And I was like, thank you. And they was like, I think I turned a lot of people, and then some people still probably won't, you know, read it unless I write it, which is cool. I totally get that. But yeah, I'm a sucker for reverse harem.
Yeah. Okay, so we have another question, which also this question was asked a few times on like Instagram. So what book would you recommend for someone just coming to you?
That depends. Do you like dark or not dark? So if you like dark, I would say you could do either Fear Me, which is a series. But if you don't like series, do In the Gray because it's a standalone. I think it's my only dark standalone. And Fear Me is new adult. So I know a lot of people don't like to read new adult. So if you don't like that, you could do The Bandit, which is a duet. So you don't have to commit to a whole big series. For non-dark, if you like standalones, Lilac is my only non-dark standalone. And if you like series but don't mind new adult, you could do The Pure and the Puppet. That's book 1. So I hope I answered your question. I threw a lot at you. That's the options because I don't know your preferences.
Right.
I read a little bit of everything.
I think I've read all of your books except for the duet, which I need to go back and read. What is that one? Is that one? That one's pretty dark, isn't it?
Yeah, that one's dark. So that one is like a kidnapping, mafia-ish it's not like a legit mafia, but the guy is like the head of a 200-year-old criminal organization. So it's I wouldn't say it's secret baby, but she like it's kind of like second chance, and the baby isn't his, but she had a baby and he didn't know about it, and so it's I will say secret baby-ish. And I think I said kidnapping already. So yeah. And I wouldn't say that's an age gap, but there's daddy kink in there. He is older. She's also 19, but he's more like 25. So the age gap is a lot. Yeah.
Okay. I need to pick that up soon. Speaking of all those tropes, is there a trope that you are interested in writing that is on your radar? Like what?
I want to do arranged marriage.
I can't believe you haven't done one, honestly.
Either.
That is
arranged marriage. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's insane.
Yeah, I've become really interested in it lately. I want to do arranged marriage. It's been on my mind. I would love to do cheating. I know that's not a popular one. I do like the angst of cheating and love triangles, but arranged marriage, I would have to say, is big on my radar right now. I wouldn't be surprised if I wrote one soon. Because I did want to start doing. Are you familiar with 𝓿𝓲𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪?
Yes.
Why do I keep calling it 𝓿𝓲𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬? Yeah. So I wanted to actually start publishing short stories through them in between big releases, because I like the pressure of it. You could do, I think it's like a minimum of 600 to 5,000 words, and you can publish as often as you like. So I thought about that. Someone said yes, arranged marriage.
Yes.
I want to do one. I think I would do that well. Not to sound cocky or arrogant. I don't mean to say that, but it's something I would be passionate about. So
no, I so see you writing an arranged marriage and the guy being a complete dick. Like I just I feel like you just need to have it written, honestly. What other tropes are you interested in? Or is that really what's
I consider MC. I don't know if I would do well at MC. Someone said I should do, actually going back to in the gray, in that world, I thought about doing what is the trope that she calls it? The broken marriage, repairing a broken marriage.
Oh, I call it like marriage in trouble.
Yeah, the marriage in trouble one for like Jada and Joran. I thought about that. I was like, if I did a book for Joran, because I like that. I like a challenge of having to redeem irredeemable characters, you know? And because I don't think Jada was completely at fault for her actions and the way that she felt.
Right.
You know, like she had her moments, or as like said, she could do better. Like, you know, you're doing too much. But when you really sit down and think about everything she's been through and everything she got hit with out of the blue, like, I'm not sure how many of us would have handled it better. So
very true.
I would be really interested in doing like a marriage in trouble book, because it would be a challenge. I've never been married before, so I would have to do a lot of research. But honestly, there's not a trope I wouldn't write.
Wow.
Yeah, because I would read almost anything. So there's nothing I wouldn't write at least once. I'd have my favorites, of course, but there's nothing I wouldn't write at least one time.
That's really interesting, because I know so many authors would be like, I'm staying away from whatever it may be, but that's cool. So I'm excited to look out for that. I definitely am interested in a marriage in trouble between Jada and Jordan. Like, that would be really intense, I feel like.
I know. That's what I said. Like, and I kept trying, like, while I was writing in the gray, I kept trying to think about, you know, because I knew I like my side characters, everyone always ends up wanting stories for them. Right. Because they always end up being so compelling. So I wish when I was writing in the gray, I tried to think like, okay, what story? How would their stories go if I did the other guys? Golden, he's the only one I'm still not sure about. I have an idea about his past because there's trauma in his past that made him selectively mute. But as far as his future, his story going, that one is still kind of wide open. So I guess that's a good thing. But for Joran, I couldn't see anybody with him but Jada. Like, I couldn't imagine anybody with him but Jada. And that would be really, really, really interesting to write about, repairing their broken marriage. And then everybody knows Rock and Demi.
Hope I need it now.
What?
I feel like you're like saying this and you're gonna be like, oh, never mind. But now I need it. Like, I definitely need this.
Yeah. But you will see them again. I won't say where. Besides Ruin's book, you'll see them again in another book, but I won't say which one. Because I think they like that. I think you guys like that surprise. when a book crosses over unexpectedly. Yeah. So I'm not gonna say which one.
Okay. We have another question. What other books do you read? And I guess this goes into like what other romance authors or authors you like?
I mostly read romance. I don't read fantasy. Fantasy. I keep thinking of fantasy as romance because they usually have elements of romance in it.
Right.
But fantasy, romance, and I still consider urban fiction under romance, so that falls under that umbrella. So fantasy and romance, that's it.
Have you read Fourth Wing that everybody is freaking out about right
I
now?
want to. I do.
So good.
And Rebecca Yarros is an OG indie author. So I was super excited when I suddenly saw her name everywhere.
Yeah.
In this book, Fourth Wings. And I was like, Rebecca Yarros wrote that? Because I didn't know she wrote fantasy. I think this might have been her first one.
Yeah, I think so.
I think, yeah, because I hadn't seen anything from her from her for a while. So I think she probably took a break and was writing that, and it paid off. And I love to see it. Yeah.
Sold out everywhere. I can't get a physical copy until like August. Yeah, it's huge right now. And so I bought it online, like ebook, and it's gonna be one of my favorites of the year. It was amazing.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it blew up like that. You can't even get a physical copy.
No.
I love that.
Every Barnes and Noble, every Target, it's crazy. So you need to read it and let me know your thoughts. I didn't know you liked fantasy like that.
Oh, I love fantasy. Sarah, you were gonna ask me which one is my favorite author. Sarah J. Maas was my answer.
I love Sarah J. Maas, honestly. Did you like
I legit don't tell anybody I told you this besides the people in the chat. When I met her at a Polycon that one year, I legit kind of cried a little bit. I was like, luckily I wasn't like full on sobbing and embarrassing myself, but I felt the tear like when I met her because I idolized her so much, and I was trying not to. I don't know what I was trying not to do, but I was like, I felt it. Like I was getting emotional meeting her.
Honestly, I feel like it would be the same for me, honestly. She's I'm guessing she was nice then.
Oh, she's not nice now?
See, oh no. I've never met her, but I'm saying I'm guessing she was nice. Like
oh yeah, she was very nice. Okay. She was very, very nice. And I was like, I'm glad she didn't notice me low-key crying.
That's good. That's good.
Or she was nice enough not to say anything. I actually had readers cry when they met me before, and I didn't know that's why they were crying. And I thought something happened. I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Do you want to sit down? Do you want some water? And then they were like, I'm just so excited to meet you. And I was like, me? Ooh. I love it. So like I never would have expected that in a million years. So I was really slow to catch on. I was really, really slow. I thought something had happened, like their dog died or something.
No, people love you. You gotta get used to that.
I know. I don't think I would ever get used to it, to be honest. It's crazy. Someone said, am I doing a book tour?
Yes.
I'm actually taking a break. I'm doing Love in Vegas, but not like a book tour. I'm doing a book signing at the end of the year for Love in Vegas. Are you familiar with that signing?
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, you're going? Yeah.
And this girl, Reagan, we're going together.
Yeah.
We met you at a Polycon last year. We're going to Book Bonanza this year. Have you?
No, I got invited, but I had to I wanted to scale back on book signings that I'm doing. I'm not doing any actually next year because because I hadn't published in 2.5 years. So I wanted to get my backlist up and have something new to offer people. So I was going to take a break next year.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll see. Well, I'll see you in Vegas then. Very excited about that. Let's see what other questions we have. Oh yeah, what are your favorite like romance authors?
So Penelope Douglas, Sarah J. Maas. I feel like I need a third one here.
You don't. If you don't have any.
Okay, good. Because that one's gonna be hard. Yeah. I really enjoy Pam Godwin though. I don't think there was a book I've read of hers that I did not enjoy. So I'm gonna throw her out there for a third because I felt like I needed a third.
Okay. I love all of those authors. We got another question. This one was asked by Reagan. It says, what's the writing process like for you?
Stress a lot, sit on my couch a lot, think about the book a lot without actually writing the book, gain a lot of weight, sitting down and eating junk food, and letting my apartment go to hell. I don't know. But the actual writing process is I will start off plotting. Like come up with character names, all that fun stuff. Birthdays, zodiac signs, I will legit detail all of that, like physical descriptions, their personality traits. These are the things I usually start off with. I would do like education, like a quick summary of their backstory, their likes and dislikes. Most of that stuff I discover while I'm writing, and then I make sure I put it in the outline so I don't forget. I will do chapter outlines, but normally I don't make it through the whole book before I get too excited and I start writing. And so I'm kind of like both a plotter and a pantser. I'm like half and half. And usually once I hit a good stride, it takes a long time for me to write books, but most of that time is me agonizing over the book and not actually writing the book. Like, for instance, Lilac is 170,000 words. I wrote 100,000 of those words in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
The other 70 went really, really slow. Then there's a point in time where nothing is coming to me and I have to sit. I have to walk away from the book. I have to sit on it for weeks, stew on it, all that good stuff. And then suddenly I get hit with all this inspiration and all this writing mojo, and then it flies. So most of my writing process is me doing absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's like it works every single book. Like I started off, I get to a good point, then I hit a wall and I can't get past that wall. So I go out and I just live life. Or I will just sit on my couch and watch TV and get upset with myself for not writing. And then I'll write. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it makes sense though. I feel like people just need to take a step back and like, let it come to them instead of trying to like push for it,
Yeah. Absolutely. Because even when after the book is finished, I still take a step back from it because I feel like those few days between it going to my editors is really crucial because I get to look at it with fresh eyes and I get to see what's wrong with the story. Because a lot of times if I force myself to sit in front of a computer and try to figure it out, it's not going to come to me. So walking away is really vital to making it a stronger story. What's spicy? Is the book spicy? I don't know, Naima, is the book spicy?
Is it spicy? Yes, it is very spicy if you're talking about In the Gray. Honestly, all of them.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Which one do you think was spicier, Lilac or In the Gray?
Okay, I think In the Gray.
In the Gray.
The hot air balloon scene. There's just so many things that I'm like, what do you
In the Gray had a lot of kinks in there. Yeah. So I would say it is too, just because of that. Like Lilac had, I wouldn't say vanilla sex, but the fact that it was 3 guys made it so much better.
Yeah.
Like they had their moments too. I think they had a lot of public moments too, but In the Gray had a lot of kinks in there.
It did.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Honestly, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I knew like blue collar man that, and recently I've just kind of been looking at blue collar men. Like, ask any of my friends. Anytime we go out, I'm like, I can tell. And anyways, I was excited about that aspect, and that was a workplace romance because I love workplace romances. But other than that, I didn't really know anything about it, and so I was really shocked by all the like kinks, all of the everything.
Oh, me too. Because I didn't know. Remember that when I said I was like a pantser, part plotter, part pantser. Half that stuff that ended up in the book I didn't know was going to be in the book. To be honest,
especially with Ruin being the heroine. Like I'm sure, like it all came. Which that's interesting that your mind went there. Yeah. Next question we have. Hello, just ordered a paperback copy of In the Gray.
Thank you, Christina. I hope you enjoy it.
It's going to be big fan of Nayeema and B.B. Reid. Thank you so much for watching.
Y'all are so nice.
So, another question that I have for you is, what's one of your favorite book, or what's your favorite book that you've written so far? I know it's kind of hard for authors to.
I would have to say, I always have to say Fear Me.
Really?
Fear Me for nostalgic reasons. Because it was my very first. So that always holds a special place in my heart. But Lilac has to be the most fun book I've ever written. I had a lot of fun with that. That was the first time I kind of stepped out of what I normally did. So I took a chance on that one. And then In the Gray definitely comes in because I definitely stepped out of, I did, but I didn't. In the Gray is a lot of what I normally write, but then I put another spin on it. So I would have to say Fear Me for nostalgic reasons. I had the most fun with Lilac. And In the Gray, I don't know. In the Gray was just on another level. I don't even know how to explain it. In the Gray is probably the longest I took to write a book, and I tried so many times with that book. So the fact that I finished means it will hold a special place in my heart. Like I was determined. Out of all the projects I started and stopped during those 2.5 years, In the Gray was the one that had me in a chokehold. Like it would not let me give up on it. So I'm glad that I didn't.
I was going to say, because when I was reading it, I was like, this feels so different from what you usually write. But then when I really think about it, I'm like, not really. Like you have the bully aspect. You kind of have, you know, the dynamic is kind of there. And I feel like it's always around the same, like, aspects between like the toxicity and all of that. But for some reason it felt so different. And I feel like it's because you took a step back and it was just not what I was expecting at all. And it really blew me away. So
yeah. Because I think all of the tropes are tropes that I tried for the first time. The age gap, the workplace, all of that stuff is new to me. Yeah.
It's just like the toxicity that I come to love in your books. I think you're one of the first people that I've read like a bully romance from. And ever since I've just been reading them. Yeah.
You should read, are you familiar with Samantha? I always get their last names mixed up because they're a writing duo. Samantha Lawson and Angel Rue. They wrote like the Fourth Side U series.
I've never heard of them.
I think you would really, I love those books. I think you would really enjoy them.
Okay, I'm adding my TBR.
But they are reverse harems. I will say that because I know you only read from me. But the content, I think, if you enjoy me, you will enjoy them. But if you can get past the reverse harem part, you might like it.
I mean, I've read some since. They just weren't hits. Oh my mom is screaming at my dog. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry. If I was around my mom right now, I'm sure she'd be screaming too.
Oh, hey Freya. She's also a big fan of yours.
Hi Freya.
Yeah, what's the name of the book? I need to add it to my TBR.
Don't even get me lying about the first book. It's the First Lords of Pain, I think it's called. Because it's like their setup is, it's one series, but they kind of have.
I've seen this cover.
Yeah, they got like 3 different series happening within one series. It's really unique, their setup, because it's like the Lords is one harem, then you got the Dukes, and then the Princes is what they're doing now. But if you like me, you'll like them, and they have diversity in theirs too. Yeah,
okay. I need to pick. Yeah, that cover looks really familiar now that I see it. You kind of already answered this, but plans for Jordan, Rock, and Golden books. You know that's coming.
I'm going to very hesitantly say yes, I am going to write their story because I get distracted easily. So, and I've promised spinoffs in the past, and when I don't deliver fast enough, I get cursed out in my emails and stuff. So I will very hesitantly say yes, it is in my brain, but I'm not going to promise anything anytime soon. No dates, anything like that. But
okay,
Golden is the only one I haven't figured out what to do with him yet. But I'm really excited for Academy because I forgot to say Single Dad is another one that I would really love to do.
I love Single Dad so much.
But I have to get through and I feel like first I have to get through the book I'm writing now, and then Ruin's first book, and then maybe go to, because I used to write, when I started a series, I used to write it all the way through, but now I'll just I think I'll just hop in and out. So maybe after Ruin.
That's what I was gonna say. You usually like write the series all together, right? I've noticed that authors like either do that or they like have a standalone popped in there, or like write series like interchangeably.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna start now, because I think and that's the problem. By the time I get through the series, I have other book ideas that I'm more excited about. So I think the only way to actually be able to get to them is to pop in and out of Ruin series and offer a standalone here and there. So maybe it'll be Rocks or Jorans. We'll see.
Very excited. I hope that comes to fruition. Let's see. Okay, Freya asks, how did you get the idea for In the Gray?
I think I just wanted to write an age gap. So I literally sat down and was like, okay, so what are we gonna do here for this age gap? And then it kind of just evolved into what it was. And I also got tired of writing rich heroes. I wanted to do blue collar. I wanted to do age gap. So it all kind of amalgamated into each other, the workplace, the blue collar, the age gap, until I ended up with In the Gray.
That's actually really interesting. I don't think I've ever read a romance book with a blue collar hero.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know if I've read one lately because they're usually all rich, and I've done that too. I'm guilty of that, and I was like, I'm so tired of writing about rich heroes. I am.
Well, wasn't Ren wasn't rich, was he?
Ren wasn't rich. That's true. He was not rich. So I guess he would be my first. I didn't think about that. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking back and I was like, all of the other ones were definitely rich, but Ren and Lou had their yeah.
So he was my first non-rich hero. Maybe he's the reason why I got tired of him.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm honestly getting over it too, but then also part of me wants a very rich husband.
Exactly.
So I use it as a manifestation tool. So we'll have to I don't know, but I do get over it. I'm like, okay, well,
I could get a very rich husband who's also very good with his hands and manual labor, just so I can watch him in the yard doing manly stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That dream God does not exist, but we're gonna try to manifest it.
No, we're definitely manifesting that, because if we have a rich husband, I don't know, you're gonna have to be able to do things around the house. Don't call someone. That's so unattractive to me. I'm like, ugh, you got to be handy a little bit. So
I was like, why do you think I married you? I don't want to put my own bookcases together anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So
so here for working class heroes. Yeah, there needs to be more of them, honestly, because
I think the one thing about me, the one good virtue I have as an author is that I like to diversify. So I like to write a little bit of everything. Like I said, I always have my favorite tropes, the things I like to revisit, but every once in a while I like to do something different and write something for everybody. Whether you prefer MF or not MF, or working class heroes or rich heroes, something for everyone. I don't think there's anything I wouldn't do at least once.
Right.
But working class heroes are here to stay. And I'll still do rich heroes, but I'll try to mix them in more. Balance.
Yeah. That's great, honestly. I think we need more of it. Let's see. We've already answered that one.
Accident that I had when I fell into the pool of eyes first.
See, Christina likes Lords of Pain. She read it.
Yes, many people. I've seen the cover a lot, especially on TikTok. Which, by the way, are you on Book Talk?
I am now. I've been using it. I've been posting every day. I joined back in 2021. I did 3 videos and then bounced for I was like, this is a lot of work for 2 views. I'm out.
Yeah.
And so I'm back again. I've been posting it regularly for a couple of months now. Still trying to get the hang of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that authors use it a lot to promote their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't really get into Book Talk. I'm definitely more on YouTube and Instagram more than anything. But I love to watch, honestly.
Yeah.
But creating is a whole nother thing.
I watch the most random things on TikTok, lives. I watched this man peel an egg.
I think I've seen those.
Yes, you've seen those where they boil it just enough to be solid, but it's liquid inside, and so you're on the edge of your seat wondering if it's gonna pop, as he's peeling these tiny pieces off.
Right.
I got up here and I was like, why are people watching this stupid stuff? And I was like, let me see. An hour later, I'm still watching.
No, that is so true. I've only ever gotten sucked into those type of lives. And then have you seen the scratcher ones where people are with their scratch offs and they're trying to I don't know, They have like
For the
tons.
lottery?
Yeah, tons of like hundreds of them, and they'll just do them. And it's
Have
so
they won big money, like jackpots doing that?
sometimes they just basically collect them. They like will buy like a whole big pack of it, and I don't know. I've spent hours watching them.
Mm-hmm.
I've also
See, she's watched those.
Yeah.
Right. It's like at first you think this is so dumb. So one guy was like, "Why? I can't believe there are 5,000 people up here." And then like 20 minutes later, he was still commenting. Like, see, you fell into it too.
Right. What's your zodiac sign, by the way?
Sagittarius for life, baby.
I know nothing about Sag.
Me neither. And I am Sag.
On to me when you said, actually, I know about Sagittarius men, and they scare me, but nothing about like women. But you said when you plot like your books, you pick out like their zodiac signs, all of that. We know that Rowdy was a Leo or is a Leo. Well, tell us about that. Are you really into astrology?
I am not. See, that was all like I needed a way to connect them. So I was like, here's this group of guys. I feel like they need a name, something that connects them. And I was like, you know, they're Black men, they're kings. And then I thought I connected kings to lions. Lions are kings of the jungle. And then I was like, this group of men, pride of lions, pride of kings. And that's how it kind of, and then I was like, okay, so I need something to connect Atlas to them. And then I started thinking about their zodiac sign, make them all Leos. And then she has the vitiligo in the pattern of the Leo constellation. Did you get that from the main cover?
Yeah.
The stars on it?
I did.
Yeah. So honestly, all of that kind of was me trying to brainstorm how to connect them, how to make this plot connect, and putting little pieces on the board to make it all connect.
I love that.
So
do you know, by the way, her do you know her sign?
Do I know what?
Do you know the heroine sign?
She's a Scorpio, right? November 9th is her birthday. Scorpio.
Yeah. Or is that
it's in my outline. She's a Scorpio, I think. Yeah. It's crazy that I remember her birthday, but not her sign. I'm pretty positive she's a Scorpio. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me I'm wrong, but I think
love that. Honestly, Atlas does give such Scorpio energy, especially at Topgolf. That scene killed me. I was like,
when they both showed their butts. Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh. I was on the phone with my friend. We were reading together, and I was like, what is going on? She's in here right now. But I was like, she's about to. Okay, by the way, spoilers. If you haven't read, we're probably going to get into a little bit of spoiler content right now, just so you know. But yeah, that definitely shocked me. She was good. And the fact that that's when Rowdy realizes that he needs a girlfriend, he wants to settle down, killed me.
You know, that made it at the last minute, right? I think, that made it in the last minute. It had actually gone through editing already, and it was getting ready to go to formatting. And I was thinking about what my beta reader had said, because in the original version, it was just Rowdy that acts a fool, right? And she was like, you know what? After what happened in the car, and then now he's here, like being him, like she's not going to do anything. And I was like, you know what? They've been fighting, because I tried to tell her from my perspective, like they've been fighting for a while, and I'm kind of tired of writing the fight scenes and stuff like that. But then I thought about it, and I was like, she does need to act a fool here, because he was doing too much.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that made it in last minute. Yeah.
And then tell me why I'm tearing up when she's drunk and flirting with the other guy, and then Rowdy beats him to a pulp. I'm like, oh my gosh. I started crying a little bit. I was like, I feel so bad. Rowdy, don't make me hate you right now. But I can't, obviously.
I warned readers. I was like, he's going to be a lot to take. Like, he's going to be hard to like. I was like, Rowdy is the one part where there's not going to be a gray area. That whole book was a gray area, from the cover, the title, the plot, the characters, all that. But Rowdy was the one you were either going to viscerally love him or viscerally hate him. There's not going to be any in between with him, because he's a lot to take.
Definitely it was. I was surprised from the get-go, honestly. Which, by the way, whenever you're writing books and like your characters, side characters, main characters, are they influenced at all by anyone in your life, anyone you know, friends?
I would think so. But honestly, if I do it, it's subconsciously, like, and not on purpose, but I would have to say so. I feel like Rowdy took on a lot of my personality. I'm not as sunny as I pretend to be. He is like a lot of the stuff he said I have said before. Like I'm gonna say. So it's interesting to watch people be like, I really hate this man. He's just super immature. He's an a-hole. And I'm like, yep. Because I always give my characters a little bit of myself, not all of myself, but I felt like out of all my characters, whoever's personality matched mine the most, it would have to be Rowdy. Because he
Wow.
Yeah. I think the only thing he doesn't have is my sense of humor, because I can be a goofball, but even my mom will tell you, yeah, she always has to tell me at the age of 30 to be nice, which is bad. Yeah, at the age of 30. Will it be on Audible? Yes. Somebody actually some company just emailed me. Do you are you familiar with Podium?
No.
Have you heard of them? I haven't either. I feel like I have, but I haven't. I'll either self-publish the audiobook or sell the rights. Maybe to 𝓿𝓲𝓷𝓰𝓮. So yes, it will be on, but I'm always late with my audiobooks. They are usually like months behind because I never know if I'm going to finish on time, and I don't like to rush myself. And with audiobooks, in order to have a simultaneous, I can never say that word correctly, simultaneous release, you have to like book them ahead of time and all of that. And oh yes, it is Scorpio. I was right.
Yes, it is Scorpio, November 9th, which is also the name of the 𝓿𝓲𝓬𝓲 book. Charles says dark romances legit have me in a chokehold. LOL, same. I go back and forth a lot, honestly. Like sometimes I want the really sunshiny. A few years ago, like when I found you and like became obsessed, like I was very much dark romance only, but my taste has gotten a bit softer as I get older. So I don't know, but I definitely, dark romances will always have a special place in my heart. And I was like, how can this be dark? Like I know it's B.B. Reid, but like it's a workplace romance. What is there, like what's going to be dark about this?
Personally, I don't think it's dark, but I've also been desensitized to a lot of things. So I had to consider, especially with this whole new wave of new readers from TikTok, and they're a big crowd. I had to consider the fact that they were seeing all of this for the first time. And I didn't want the purity police to come after me. So I had to label it very, very hesitantly label it dark. But it's like, I think there are varying degrees to darkness. So I would definitely say, like I said, everything about this book is gray, on the gray side of dark. So there's pitch black, not lilac, and the gray would be on the gray side. I'm telling you, that title is a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
Everything
about it is gray.
Everything about it is great. Everybody loves morally gray characters. It's a thing now. I didn't even do that on purpose. And I was like, wow, that worked out. Because the original title was 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲 when Ruin was the heroine. Then I changed her. Yep. And then it became, I went through a few titles. I think the one before this one was The Calamity of Us. And then I was sitting here, I was so excited. I was like, it's a gorgeous title. Anytime I title my book, I always go on Goodreads, I search it, Amazon, I search it to make sure no one has used it before, right? And I was like, great, no one's used it, couldn't find it. Then I was thinking later, I was like, why does this sound so familiar? Like, why does this sound so? I was like, but I searched it, I couldn't find it. And then it suddenly hit me, this sounds like a Brittany Cherry book.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
It sounds like a Brittany Cherry book. And then I went and looked at her page and I was like, The Wreckage of Us. That's why it sounds. And I think she has another one like that. So I changed it. To In the Gray. Okay. A crime romance story. I feel like in all my books, they're criminals. Lilac was the first book I wrote where they weren't criminals. So, and this one I'm writing now, they're not criminals. It's actually a college one. So,
oh, I love that. Okay.
Take your pick from my backlist, Lexi.
Yes, all of them have a little bit of like crime elements into it. Kind of like, I want to say like this series kind of had a secret society-esque vibe going on.
Yeah, it was like I thought about doing Secret Society, but they didn't seem to be very popular. Everyone's like, oh no, no. The same with Gothic romances. And I was like, what's the hate on that? But yeah, they were like gangbangers in that one. You don't like them either? Like the Secret Society and the Gothic.
Right.
You don't like them either?
I do. I love that. I love Gothic. I love Secret Society. Amo Jones has what's that series called?
Is it the one she's doing now?
No, it's like a Silver Swan series. The Silver Swan series. It came out.
Oh,
yeah, that's
yeah.
Secret Society. I love a Secret Society book. So, so definitely all of them are a little bit criminal. Okay, so who is
trying to join the live right now? Excuse you. He's like all up in my
Who is your favorite hero that you've written about? Or
Rowdy. I think Rowdy has replaced Kieran. Kieran used to always be my answer, but Rowdy, if he's not my favorite, he's definitely tied with Kieran now, because I have not been obsessed with a character like this since Kieran, because Rowdy was next level. He was, and I don't know, I miss him already. So I would have to say Rowdy, not trying to promote my own book. That is a genuine answer. Rowdy, for sure. Yeah.
I would have to agree, honestly. And even, who was the guy in Lilac? I'm trying to remember his name. That I was like, okay, I would love that it was a reverse harem. I love that it was my first Why Choose Romance. But then when I got to the end, I was like, I was very happy and content with all of them being together. But I was like, I just loved one of those heroes a slightly bit more. And I feel like it was Jericho. Was it? I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves Rich. Yeah, I hear Rich a lot. Houston is probably the least liked because he was the biggest a-hole. And then Lauren. But Rich he's usually a fan favorite for sure. Like, people love him. He was like, he's one of the few nice heroes that I wrote.
Oh yeah, So you really are you interested in ever writing like a nice hero? Like, or no, is that not your vibe at all?
I do. I thought Ren was pretty nice. He was kind of like, but he wasn't like super sweet, like too thick sweet. But I think the guys I'm writing now in the book I'm writing, because that one's actually a menage. I know you're probably sad to hear that. That one's a menage. So it is. And the guys there, this is the first time I probably, besides the Moth and the Flame, because they didn't hate each other when they met, where they didn't hate the heroine and the heroine didn't hate them. So this one is going to be unique in the way where it starts off where they meet, and then, you know, time jump, they're in a relationship, and then that's when all the drama starts. And I won't get too much into that. But those guys, they're really sweet to her. I don't know yet if they're gonna be sweet as a whole, but they're sweet to her. But yeah, I can see myself doing a sweet hero, just not often, because I will try and then somehow turn them into an a-hole. I can't help myself.
Yeah,
I really
it's fun. I feel like, honestly,
they're fun to write about.
Yeah, and they're definitely fun to read about, obviously. I was gonna ask, who is your favorite character or couple in the series when Rivals play?
Ooh,
I have mine.
Why is that so hard?
I have my top two.
I want to say For and Ever. That one's hard.
Mine's Tara and Vaughn, and Jamie and B.
I would say Tyra and Vaughn and For and Ever. Yeah, that one's hard. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before, actually.
Really? Hardball question here.
I've never thought about it before. Yeah. Okay. Tyra and Vaughn went through some things. Oh my gosh. And For and Ever, like, they started off that series for me. So I think I get caught up in the nostalgia.
It sounds like it. Fear
Yeah.
Me, and I love that series, the Fear Me series.
Mhm.
But I just love how nostalgic you are and how that's always going to be like your favorite series.
Mhm.
I know a lot of authors, whenever they have like their first series or first book, they're like, oh, do not talk to me about whatever
Yeah.
I've written first.
Like, I was definitely learning how to write then, so I won't say, because it was the first series I've ever did, I won't say it's probably not my best written, although I do think it's well written. I do, but it is my favorite because I'm a super nostalgic person, so I get butterflies every time I think about them. I think about that young 21-year-old girl who was writing them, didn't know what she was doing, but she was so excited, didn't think it was going to go anywhere, and she was just writing. And she was just writing, and she had a lot of fun. So those would have to always be my favorite.
What got you into writing and becoming an author?
It was random. Like a lot of the things I do is random. I could not find, I think that was after I had just read Consequences by 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪, and I started 𝓿𝓲𝓷𝓰𝓮, and I started reading a lot of new adult bully like the 𝓫𝓲𝓬𝓬 and Penelope Douglas, and then it was really hard because I wrote Fear Me in 2014. It came out in 2015. It was really hard to find those kind of books, the books I wanted to read. So I was like, I'm gonna write them.
Right.
I thought it was purely for me. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I didn't even know indie publishing was a thing. And I had been reading romance since I was in junior high. I just assumed all these books were traditionally published.
Right.
And, these authors were publishing them themselves. So I found out about indie publishing after I Googled how to sell my book. And then I realized I could upload it to Amazon myself and publish it. Yeah. So I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. So imagine my surprise.
Yeah. Honestly, that's great. Honestly, do you have any advice to people wanting to write romance, get into becoming an author at all?
Enjoy the time when you don't have a reader base, when you write that first book, because it's going to be the best time of your life. Write whatever you want. Don't force yourself to write something that you think is going to sell best, or you think people want you to write, because you're the one who has to sit down and write it. You're the one who has to spend months and weeks with those characters in that story. So that is my advice. Stay true to yourself. Write what you want to write. Do what you want to do. And it'll pay off. It'll pay off a lot more than forcing yourself into something that you're not interested to do. That is always my advice. Always.
Great advice.
I do. I miss that time when I wrote Fear Me.
That's probably why it's so nostalgic and all of that. Well, we are almost at the hour. Is there anything else you want to talk about in the gray anymore? Let us know.
Stay on the lookout for the alternate cover. That's what I was doing today. When I say, I don't know if you saw my story, I am not kidding when I say it's better than the main cover.
You can't do this to me. Okay.
It's so much better. And I'm so mad at myself because I didn't get it made at the same time. It was hard enough coming up with the first cover.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. And the alternate cover is better. It is. After I get off with you, I'm just gonna stare at it some more. It's good.
When are you it? When are you announcing it, posting it?
As soon as I can get, because I want to post it when it's ready so that I don't torture people, because I've done it in the past where I'll be like, here's this cover, and then when's it ready? I don't know. So I'm waiting to get formatting so I can get the ball rolling and get that ready, and then I'll just drop it. So it should be a couple more days, maybe a few more days, 2-3 more days.
Yay. Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for joining in with this interview with B.B. Reid. If you have not read In the Gray, honestly, what are you doing? It is amazing. The kinks in there, everything about it, the mystery had me. Came up with so many theories, and I was wrong each and every single time. So that was
it wasn't super. I thought it was going to be I was afraid. I was afraid either it was super obvious or really. Yeah. I'm glad.
yeah, I thought it. Anyways, I'll have to DM you later. But yeah, super fun plot twist. My earring keeps falling out. Many plot twists. And definitely pick it up. And if you haven't read from B.B. Reid at all, definitely pick up her backlist. It is all amazing. She really got me into like toxicity, dark romances, bully romances. She's honestly the best, and I go to her all the time for like that type of fix. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, bye.
Bye. Thank you. How do I turn this off?